Welcome to Consumer Times. With nearly 1.2 billion telephone connections in India, consumers face a maze of complaint resolution systems. But do these systems actually work? In this Consumer Times episode, we examine the complaint redressal mechanisms for telephone consumers in India, explore the challenges they face, and reveal the harsh reality of seeking justice in the telecom sector. Hello and welcome to Consumer Times, where we fight for your rights as a consumer. I am Dr. Arun Kumar, and today we are diving into a topic that affects nearly every Indian: the complaint resolution system for telephone consumers and the unfortunate fate that many face when seeking justice. Before we discuss complaints, let's understand the sheer scale we are dealing with. India has approximately 1.2 billion telephone connections, making it the second largest telecom market in the world. With around 1.17 billion mobile subscribers and 33 million landline connections, we are talking about a massive industry that touches virtually every household in the country. Major players like Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone Idea, and BSNL serve this enormous consumer base. But with great numbers come great problems. And when nearly everyone has a phone, the complaints are bound to be massive too. India's telephone consumer complaint system is governed by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, commonly known as TRAI. Now, here's the first critical point every consumer must understand. TRAI itself does not handle individual consumer complaints. Yes, you heard that right. The regulatory body that oversees the telecom sector doesn't directly resolve your complaints. Instead, TRAI has mandated that all telecom service providers establish a two-tier complaint redressal mechanism. So what does this two-tier system look like? The first tier is the complaint center of your service provider. Every telecom company is required to establish a toll-free customer care number and a web-based complaint monitoring system. When you call or register a complaint online, the company must immediately provide you with a unique docket number, along with the date, time, and expected resolution period. This is your reference number. Guard it carefully because you'll need it to track your complaint. According to TRAI regulations under the Telecom Consumer Complaint Redressal Regulations of 2012, billing and charging complaints must be resolved within 6 weeks, while service-related complaints should be addressed within 3 to 7 days, depending on the nature of the issue. For instance, if your phone line has a fault, the service provider should fix it within 3 days. Delays attract penalties. If a wireline fault remains unresolved for more than 3 days, you are entitled to rent rebates ranging from 7 days to 1 month depending on how long the fault persists. The second tier kicks in when you're not satisfied with the resolution at the first level. You can then escalate your complaint to the appellate authority of your service provider. This appeal must be disposed of within 39 days from the date of filing. Both these tiers are internal to the telecom company, which raises an obvious question. Can we really expect justice from a system where the company investigates itself? According to TRAI's annual report for 2023-24, the authority received 44,734 telecom-related complaints during that year. At first glance, this might seem like a large number, but let's put it in perspective. With 1.2 billion connections, this means only about 0.0037% of complaints reached TRAI's desk. Does this mean Indian telecom consumers are extraordinarily happy? Unfortunately, no, the reality is far more troubling. A nationwide survey conducted by Local Circles in 2024, which received over 32,000 responses from 362 districts across India, revealed that 89% of mobile subscribers experience call connection and call drop issues. Yes, 89%. Despite the rollout of 5G services and promises of better connectivity, consumers continue to face poor network quality. TRAI itself acknowledged in August 2023 that complaints about call drops and network-related issues have risen after the rollout of 5G services. So why aren't more complaints reaching TRAI? The answer lies in the complex, time-consuming, and often frustrating complaint process that discourages consumers from persisting with their grievances. Let's talk about the most frequent issues telephone consumers face in India. Call drops and poor connectivity top the list. Despite technological advancements and service providers meeting quality of service benchmarks at the licensed service area level, consumers in specific localities continue to suffer due to what experts call the averaging effect. Service providers pass overall benchmarks while pockets of poor service remain unaddressed. Billing errors and incorrect charges are another major pain point. Unauthorized value-added services, mysterious deductions, double billing, and disputes over data usage are rampant. The regulations state that billing complaints should be resolved within 4 to 6 weeks, and any credit or adjustment must be made within 1 week of resolution. But enforcement remains a challenge. Service activation and deactivation problems plague consumers regularly. Want to close your connection? The service provider is supposed to terminate it within 7 days and cannot charge you beyond this period. But many consumers report being billed for months after requesting closure, with their security deposits held hostage until they pay disputed bills. Mobile number portability issues, poor customer service, network outages, and data speed problems round out the list of common grievances that make a telephone consumer's life difficult in India. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The fate of telephone consumers in India remains precarious despite elaborate regulatory frameworks. The two-tier complaint system sounds good on paper, but in practice, consumers face multiple hurdles. First, reaching customer care itself is often an ordeal. Long wait times, automated systems that loop endlessly, and representatives who are either unhelpful or lack the authority to resolve issues. Second, even when complaints are registered, tracking and follow-up become the consumer's burden. The web-based complaint monitoring systems are often difficult to navigate, and consumers receive little to no proactive communication about their complaint status. Third, the timeframes for resolution, while specified in regulations, are frequently not met. And here's the catch: what happens when a service provider fails to meet these timelines? The penalties are minimal, and enforcement is weak. Consumers are left with few options except to escalate further, which brings its own set of challenges. If the two-tier system fails, consumers do have other avenues, but each comes with significant effort and cost. You can file a complaint on the Department of Telecommunications website or through the Centralized Public Grievance Redress and Monitoring System, known as CPGRAMS. However, these systems primarily forward complaints back to service providers or concerned units, creating another loop. The Consumer Forum is perhaps the most effective remedy, where consumers can file cases for deficiency in service. You can approach the District Forum for disputes up to 1 crore rupees, the State Commission for disputes between 1 and 10 crore, and the National Commission for disputes exceeding 10 crore. But going to consumer court requires time, documentation, and often legal assistance. Some consumers resort to sending legal notices through lawyers, hoping the formal communication will prompt action. Others turn to platforms like Voxer or social media, hoping public pressure will force resolution. But should consumers have to go through such an ordeal for basic service issues, the system needs fundamental reform. TRAI must move from a passive regulatory role to active consumer advocacy. District-level quality of service monitoring, as proposed by TRAI, is a step in the right direction, but it must be coupled with strong penalties for non-compliance. Service providers should face financial consequences severe enough to make customer satisfaction a priority, not an afterthought. The complaint resolution process must be simplified and made truly independent. Perhaps it's time for an independent telecom ombudsman who can make binding decisions on consumer complaints. Similar to the banking ombudsman scheme, digital literacy programs must educate consumers about their rights and the complaint process. Many consumers don't know they're entitled to rent rebates for delayed fault rectification or that they can escalate complaints to an appellate authority. Most importantly, there must be consequences for repeated violations. Service providers who consistently fail to meet quality of service parameters or resolve complaints within specified time frames should face license scrutiny or be required to provide automatic compensation to affected consumers. The fate of telephone consumers in India is a story of resilience against systemic inefficiency. With 1.2 billion connections, we represent one of the world's largest consumer bases, yet we remain vulnerable to poor service quality, billing irregularities, and a complaint resolution system that often feels designed to exhaust rather than empower us. The infrastructure exists: try regulations, complaint centers, appellate authorities, consumer courts, but the will to enforce and the commitment to genuine consumer protection often lag behind. As consumers, we must know our rights, document our issues meticulously, and persist in seeking resolution. But we shouldn't have to be warriors just to get the service we pay for. Remember, every ignored complaint, every unresolved issue, and every frustrated consumer weakens the entire system. Your voice matters. Use the complaint mechanisms, escalate when necessary, and if all else fails, the consumer court is your constitutional right. This is Consumer Times, fighting for your rights because every consumer deserves to be heard. If you've faced telecom issues, share your experience in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let's build a community of informed, empowered consumers. Until next time, know your rights, raise your voice.